Welcome to the latest edition of News from Korea. Kind of given up on using the top search stories or top news stories based on Dom Naver because, quite frankly, it's just a load of celebrity fluff half the time. One major news story last week, last Friday, it really became an issue. There's been a problem in Korea, in the East Sea area, with Chinese fishermen coming into Korean waters and fishing illegally. And from what I read, there's been like 200 fishing boats or more a year coming in and operating illegally off of Mokpo, which is kind of southwestern Korea. I said the East Sea, didn't I? Sorry, I meant the West Sea. So far, the Chinese clamped down on them, and so far this year there's only been 64. But these fishermen are coming armed. They have spears, clubs, knives, lots of homemade weapons. And the Korean government has not allowed the Coast Guard to be issued guns. They can have gas guns, which by that I'm assuming it'd be like tear gas guns. They're allowed to have stun guns and nightsticks, and that's it. Well, last Thursday, the Coast Guard discovered 2 Chinese fishing boats in Korea's EEZ, something economic zone. So they sent 2 speedboats with 17 Coast Guard officers between them. About 7:40 a.m., the Korean Coast Guard boats confronted the Chinese, and 3 officers, one of them, Coast Guard Officer Park, tried to board one of the Chinese boats, and the Chinese crew fought back, using clubs, spears, shovels. They fought. The Koreans went back to their boat and retreated, and Officer Park was missing. I guess there's footage now of what happened out on the net on Korean sites. Officer Park was beaten in the head with a shovel. In the last sign of him, he was hanging onto their boat, and they were beating him. About 10:30 a.m. Friday, over 24 hours later, they found the Chinese boats again. This time they boarded them forcibly, and they couldn't find Park. Friday afternoon, they found Officer Park's body off of, I'm not pronouncing it, Gajjo Island, not far from where he first went missing. When they found the body, they say that his belt and his nightstick were wrapped around his neck. So they were speculating that he was strangled and dumped. Turns out, since they did the autopsy, he drowned. But was he unconscious? Like I said, the video showed them beating his head with a shovel. So the Coast Guard now have 11 Chinese crew members being held in Mokpo, and they're going to charge them with murder and hindering the execution of official duties of an officer. What can you say? They got to do something about this. Holy shit! You can't let foreigner fishermen come in and kill your Coast Guard people. The mind wobbles. I know Canada and Spain had a tiff 10 plus years ago over Spanish ships overfishing in Canadian waters. We used our military, who were armed with guns, to confront them. If they're coming in with weapons like that and they're not afraid to try to kill your Coast Guard officers, I say sink the assholes. They deserve nothing less. But sorry, this isn't an editorial, this is the news. Well, Koreans are really up in arms about this. Not so up in arms that they're having protests in the street, but they're really angry. The government's line for not arming the Coast Guard officers is they didn't want to create an incident with China. Better to let someone die than create an incident with China. I don't know. But it was the talk of the town Friday, Saturday. And people are still stunned and angry even today. Anyways, that's it for news from Korea for today. May the good news be yours.